Okay, good morning everybody. Well, guys, have we got a treat for you today? Okay, welcome to our Unleashed community drama, and this morning is our mental health special. So guys, I'll tell you, we have got a treat for you. We've got a really packed, we've got an absolutely packed morning, so we're going to crack on. I want to read a poem, first of all, by my brother, believe it or not, who is a poet. He's a professional poet and speaker and writer. And he wrote this poem, and I think it really is really pertinent for today. So I'm going to read it. It's called Inconvenient Truth. And it goes like this. There is currently no service between King's Cross and Seven Sisters due to a person on the track. Transport for London wishes to apologise for any inconvenience. There is currently no service between King's Cross and Seven Sisters due to a baby who grew up and lost his job, his kids, and the will to live. There is currently no service between King's Cross and Seven Sisters because there is no community health service. No one wishes to apologise for this inconvenience. My gosh, I tell you, I think that is an amazing poem, because basically what it's talking about is the fact that actually mental illness for a lot of people, okay, is something you don't talk about and, you know, you don't want to apologise for, and is it out there? And yet the stark reality is that actually 1 in 4 of us will at some point in our lives struggle with mental health issues. And in fact, it's the biggest killer of men between 20 and 50 in this country, suicide. Suicide, biggest killer. So this morning we are going to be looking at mental health. We've done a lot over the years about mental health. You know, Unleashed Community Drama is about taking issues and, you know, writing stuff about them. So we are going to be doing a great Throwback Thursday where we're looking back to Under One Roof 2, which was our big homeless musical that we did a couple of years ago. Second one that we did to raise money for the local homeless centre. And we wrote this thing about mental health. And I tell you who we've got back today, the lovely Tom Stockley, who we've got an interview with, which is fantastic. But we're going to start off, okay, with what we normally do, okay, and that is we go around the room and we just find out. So we've got quite a few people joining us today, which is fab. So here we go. Okay, so here we are, lots of lovely familiar faces. Here we are at the top of club, and it's great to see so many of our lovely familiar faces. Lovely Roz, Laura, Margie, Jude. Nice to have you here, John, Calvin, Josie and Sharon. We put out an invite for quite a few other people to join. Don't worry, there'll be lots of weeks when we can do that. And you might have heard, guys, we've got this thing. Some of you have received your pack this week. If you haven't, don't worry, it's coming. And we've in fact, we've got hold of some iPads, which we are going to loan to people who cannot get, you know, tune in on a Thursday morning, and who will have Zoom on it, so you'll be able to take part. The idea is we were thinking of inclusion. All our regular guys, you know, we want everybody to feel they're included and they can take part. So this is great news. I know been working his socks off, ordering stuff, doing lots of techie stuff, which I don't understand. So anyway, we're going to go around like we normally do on a Thursday morning, and we're just going to say our name and then a word that sums you up, okay? And it could be, you know, your demeanour, your mood, something about you. Do you know what I mean? Anything. And it's a really great thing. This is our Mental Health Awareness Week special. We are very aware that for a lot of people, their mental health is something that really they're struggling with at this time of lockdown, and particularly, you know, our guys anyway, it's sometimes a challenge. So this is a really good exercise to actually help people to be honest. The great thing about Unleashed is that it's totally non-judgmental. You know, it's a safe space. I know we're in a public arena, which is slightly different online, but we're trying to keep this as normal as possible. And the thing I would like to say to people is actually, it's okay not to be okay. You know, that is a strap line for mental awareness. It's okay not to be okay.
And actually, when you keep it in and hold it in, that's when you can really get into problems, so particularly blokes I'm talking to. So I'm going to kick this off by saying I'm Martin, and I've had a crap week, and I've found it really tough. And I haven't felt brilliant. And sorry, that's not my word, is it? So, okay, Martin, crap.
Margie, confined.
John, anxious.
Calvin, challenged.
Josie, frustrated.
Sharon.
Resilient.
This is good.
Ros, optimistic.
Good. Jude.
Jude, contented but frustrated. Oh, that's two things, isn't it? But yeah, I'm a bit with Josie as well. Yeah.
Concentrated.
Yeah.
Okay, lovely Laura. How are you, lovely?
Okay. Is that all right to say?
Okay, it's okay. Yeah, okay, it's good.
Okay.
Guys, can I just say, I think, we are going to be talking about mental health this morning. We've got some really great stuff planned. We really have. But I just wanted to open the floor up. We do this very often. If anyone wants to sort of share something about, perhaps their own walk, their own, journey about mental health, that could be something of an encouragement, how they cope when they feel perhaps challenged, or when they feel things aren't great, perhaps something they do, or you go to, or what do you go to help, perhaps overcome? What do you do? Perhaps it's something you do. I mean, maybe some of you haven't got anything, but the floor is open, as they say.
I'd like to share.
Can I say that this is my 9th week of being confined to my house and garden and just around the block, and I've been doing okay with just going out for a few minutes. But this week I found I was really struggling, and I was getting lower and lower and really losing all motivation for anything at all. I didn't want to do anything. And the thing that actually makes me feel better is to get in my car and to drive. So yesterday I thought, they have said that you can drive a bit further. So yesterday morning I got in my car and I drove up to a little place at Fernworthy Reservoir on the moors. I didn't see anybody to speak to. I got out of my car, sat by the reservoir, and I had my lunch, and I got back in my car and I drove all over the moors from Postbridge and round and down to Ashburton. And it really lifted my spirits. And I said to my son and daughter, I said, it really refreshed me. And I found so different. So to do something that I was able to do something that I really loved doing. I didn't need people, I didn't need shops, I didn't need cafes. I just needed outside in the country and driving in my car.
Margie, that's so helpful. And can I just say, I think that is such a great thing. And I think also that connection with nature. I've done quite a lot of reading recently, and I think what you're saying is absolutely true, that to simplify your life and actually connect with nature and the simple pleasures is something that can be really helpful. So that's really great. Thank you, Margie. Sharon, you wanted to say something lovely.
Yes, I suffer with anxiety. Early morning I find really difficult. I wake up very early and I feel very anxious. It does go off during the day, but I do find mornings quite difficult. And I started sea swimming last year, and I know people will throw their hands up in horror, but I have to say it is the best thing if you suffer from anxiety. Yeah. And you can get past that initial shock. And I've been going since last September, the winter, and I go every morning. Me tremendously and sets me up for the whole day. So I was able to say now I feel resilient, and that's what helps me.
Do you know, Sharon, it's really interesting you should say that, because I know that Allah is really into this as well. And I've read an awful lot. I read a thing about actually, in terms of depression, one of the things that really helps, cold shower every morning, and also sea swimming.
You have to do a cold
So
shower,
helpful.
then it over with a warm one, and it's like a 50-50.
Really great. That's really helpful, Sharon. Laura.
Thank you.
Very lovely.
No, I was just saying that what Sharon was saying, you do 30 seconds of like really hot stuff and then really cold stuff, and you go from one to the other, and it does something to your insides, and
it does.
It helps.
It's an absolute physiological proven theory that actually the shock of the cold actually sets you up and helps you become more resilient. So Sharon,
Sharon's saying, I get up and I have a cold shower every day, then I go for a run, and for some reason it just clicks me into the world.
Well, Laura, can I just say that is another thing which I've been reading about. Actually looking after yourself in terms of your activity, that actually running, doing exercise, again, is something that is really good for your mental health. You know, I personally have known for years that running really helps me. Basically, it gets the natural endorphins going, it keeps you fit, it makes you feel really great about yourself.
It's the best thing to do before you actually start your day. You have to get your body moving, and it really helps you out.
Yeah.
It always has with me, so you know.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Jude, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say, you know, at the top of the programme, I said, you know, I'm feeling frustrated but contented. Frustrated because, you know, my family is 5 hours away, and this is the longest time that we've ever gone without seeing them, so that is really painful. But contented because when you can appreciate a beautiful day and living somewhere that's so beautiful, and we've started going out at 7 a.m, just getting up and going off and just walking by the sea, and it is just so uplifting. So I'm with Margie, you know, with what you were saying, and it really does make you feel so grateful for living in a beautiful place. And the other thing is,
we're so lucky being here.
We are fortunate to be here. And the other thing I find very uplifting is, you know, this beautiful season of seeing flowers and flowering shrubs, and, you know, nature is. And it just does lift your spirits.
It does. It really does. The thing I found really helpful, and it sounds a really weird thing, but I'll tell you, I've been, Sam Leach, our vicar at Mary Maggs, he's such a lovely guy, and he's been doing these in the morning and the evening. And he was talking the other day, and it really struck a chord with me. He's got this app from the RSPB, and he's teaching his kids how to work out which bird is which bird's song. And the thing that's really struck me is we live in a lovely street, and because there's been so little traffic, you're really conscious of the bird song and this whole thing of connecting with nature.
They're getting louder. You notice they
are getting louder.
Yes.
Laura, getting louder. It's a lovely thing, and again, it's about.
I know, but I love them. At the same time, it's like, just give me a little bit more time. Sorry,
Calvin.
When I was working, worry was something that I was particularly prone to. Sleepless nights. I think most of us know about this. And the two things which helped me to avoid that, you know, if you're focusing on and you're going round and round in circles, getting anywhere fast, the two things which helped, one was prayer, but the other thing was phone up and talking to somebody that could help. Break the silence. So if people are in that place, somebody, it helped me time in the harsh world of business. It was certainly relevant now.
Calvin, I think that is a really good point. I think actually being able to talk and share your problems with someone. We touched on this a couple of weeks ago with Roz about counselling, and we're going to be talking later in the programme about this. How important it is that you can share. I think particularly men open up. Women are good at this, you know, nattering and stuff over coffee. Men are not so good about it, actually talking about their real problems and actually talking about it in a real way and actually opening up is very cathartic and very helpful. So that's a really good point. John, what were we going to say, mate?
It's been quite hard, actually. I don't really know. Just been a bit all over the place and anxious and finding it hard to understand all the emotions and that. And it's not been very easy and lots of,
Oh, bless you.
But, it's just been really odd. It's like trying to understand this whole new. There's things I do like listening to music and things and just watching the TV and going out on a socially distanced walk and that, and it's just like can help.
Yeah.
But it feels odd to not have any routines and everything like that as well.
Yeah, no, John, I get that. I tell you, but that's a very, very good point about looking after yourself. And if you've got an interest in particular music can be very soothing. It is something that really does it for you. To get up, I think it's important to have a proper routine. I think a lot of people are really struggling with not going out, not having a proper routine. So getting up, getting dressed, incredibly important. So thanks for that. Hang on, let me just turn that off. Oh, hang on a second.
Might be Angela.
Okay, right, Roz, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I was going to say, similarly to John, the emotional roller coaster is quite something. There are days when I wake up and I'm crying, and I think, why am I crying? What's that about? I don't really know. Not sobbing, just tears. And I think that's the separation thing from family and friendship. So,
It kind of sucks, and we can't hug everybody and
No.
do what we normally do. It's a little bit strange. We're not used
Yeah,
to
it is. But I'll tell you something though, Roz. It's important that you can express that emotion. I think for a lot of people, particularly blokes, who never cry or show emotion, that's where they get into trouble. I'm actually, as you know, I'm a very emotional person, and actually once a month I have a jolly good cry, and it's all out there. And actually, that's a really good way of dealing with emotion. There's nothing wrong in being honest and saying, actually, I need a good cry. I have a good old cry. My wife's very, very.
It's good to have a good cry. I mean, you watch a film, you watch something on TV.
Yeah.
I normally cry when it comes to the stuff with the horses. I just go,
I think it's cathartic. I think if you can find something like that, Laura, a film or something that might be a favourite film, that taps into something emotional, it's a release, and that's a good idea.
It is a release.
it's good to just kind of just let go. Let it go.
Guys, can I just what's the time? Josie, can I hand over to you, because I'm conscious of the time. We need to wrap it up in a sec. Josie, what do you want to say?
Most of you know that I lost my dog a couple of months ago. We had to have him put down because of the cancer, and it's been so frustrating because he was always in the house. And one of the things that I kept doing as a routine is going out for a walk every day. And if I can, I borrow a dog, which I've been doing as well. And that, like Marg and Jude and that, just get outside in nature and appreciating the beauty of the area.
So,
It is. Yeah, it is.
Thank you, Laura. You're very good.
Thank Laura.
What?
Absolutely.
He was knighted, wasn't
I
he?
was knighted. Hey, Laura, I was knighted last week by John's mum, which is great. Anyway, guys, we're going to wrap it up because we've got loads more exciting stuff, including our star interview with Joseph Melson. So listen, guys, later.
always good. Always good. Seriously, doesn't it?
Okay, wasn't that good, guys? Wasn't that good? Okay, guys, wasn't that good? I mean, goodness, we had a really good chat this morning. Really, really important. Now, what I'm just going to do here, sorry, I'm just trying to line up the next thing. We're going to see who's waving through the window because we've actually got a really great special guest, someone who's back from the past, a guy who was with us for quite a while, right in the early days. And my goodness, what a blessing he was to us when we were starting out and stuff. And that is the lovely Tom Stockley, who is down here in lockdown with his folks at the moment, and he's waving through the window. So we've now got this interview with Tom Stockley, and then we're going to go straight into one of the really good mental health dramas that we've ever written. So here we go. Okay, well, we've got lovely Tom Stockley here. Lovely Tom, who was one of our leaders for quite a while, and we haven't seen you for ages. So, mate, it is so nice to see you. And I know you're just back in the Bay for a while for the lockdown, staying with your folks. So I thought, wow, let's get old Tom on, because I know you've been watching our fun and laughter on a Thursday morning.
Yeah, I've been enjoying it every Thursday morning. It's good.
Yeah, good man. Well, it was our loss when you went off to Bristol to be a youth person, a youth leader, but... You know, I'll tell you, Tom, it's so lovely. The guys remember you because you were there right at the very beginning. The first thing we ever did was that gnomes thing. Do you want to just tell us about how you got involved with Unleashed and how long you were with us and all that sort of stuff? Because people remember you very, very fondly, and we still miss you.
Yeah, no, me to you guys as well. It was special. I think, to be honest, more than anything, it helped me a lot, actually, to be part of that group. I think I've been living with a few friends down in Cornwall for a few years and moved back to Torbay, and I felt a bit lost, I think, and I was looking for something creative, and I'd never really done that much theatre kind of stuff before and didn't think I knew enough about it to be a part of it. And then I heard about what you were doing. I think basically I was missing kind of creative and strange and energetic.
Weirdos like us, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And then a few people said to me, you should check out Unleashed and check out
Lloyd Harris.
Exactly. And I think from the first moment I came there, I just felt like I fitted in, and I know, I was there as a leader or whatever, which was a privilege, but I felt like one of the gang, and all the people I met there, it didn't. Everyone was very honest and open and open about any mistakes or any ways we mess up, because I'm used to that, and I think I'm always looking to be around honest people and to be able to talk about my mistakes. I struggle as much as anyone else, so it felt very real and really funny as well.
We had a lot of fun. Well, we still do.
A really funny, intelligent bunch of people. Maybe some of them would disagree, but I think you're all very funny and intelligent and interesting. Yeah.
Well, we did have a lot of fun, and the weird thing is, Tom, is we're sort of looking back today because it's our Mental Health Week, and as you know, a lot of the guys, because of their addictions and challenges, a lot of people, including myself, struggled with mental health and what have you, and it's sort of not talked about enough. The honesty is not talked about enough. So do you remember we did that? We did in Under One Roof 2. We wrote that sketch, which we're going to show in a minute, based on Edward Munch's The Scream, and you were very much involved with that, weren't you? What's your remembrance of all of that?
I think the whole thing obviously was amazing to be a part of, but that Scream thing and that idea of being lost and frustrated and not being able to express it, it hit a nerve with me, and I'm sure loads of the other guys in the group. And I feel particularly, I'm lucky enough to have a fairly supportive family, but I think maybe growing up I wasn't always supported by school, and I had a lot of problems there, really. And as a bloke, I never really felt like I was able to say, look, I'm feeling a bit crap today. And you do get to this point, and I think for a lot of people, they're screaming, me included, is drink and whatever, and whatever things you do to feel that kind of frustration.
For those that don't remember it, basically the script we devised was about 5 different scenarios of people who actually were clearly struggling, but they say nothing. They're silence. And then we all just got this we mind the scream, and it's all about the screaming inside, and actually, you know, we need to talk. And actually, when you are struggling with mental health and issues, actually it's much better to get it out there and share it and talk with people who are not going to judge you, who are going to love you, but who are going to understand and try and help. So that was the premise, wasn't it? And I think your scenario was with Blair, wasn't it? You were one of the last scenarios where it was the homeless guy. And you were looking for your dad, and then you find that the homeless guy is actually your dad who's been in the military, wasn't it?
And I think that's really, that's just those kind of stories you hear quite a lot. It was quite emotional to do, and even kind of to think about it now in a lot of ways.
It was.
Yeah.
The weird thing was, Tom, was not long after you left, we were invited to this Fresh Hope group, which is run by a friend of ours, Ben, who's one of our Unleashed guys, which is basically a mental health group for people who have struggled with or perhaps had a breakdown. And it's a support group for people who have really got massive mental health issues. And they asked us to go and join with them at Upton Vale. And we showed that, and we had a lot of the guys who were in it, and we talked about the whole premise of how, you know, actually people look okay on the outside, and that's the thing with mental health. You can look fine, but actually on the inside, you know, you're actually screaming and really desperate to sort of talk
It's
to
a really
someone.
important one to crack, and I think we did quite a lot as a theatre group, didn't we, on that kind of idea, because it's so important. Yeah, and you even look at all the guys that come to Unleashed, everyone looks so different. And a lot of them look quite jolly, and, you know, like me included, and yourself included, but you never know what's going on
Yeah,
on the inside. Yeah.
Totally. Well, listen, Tom, tell us a little bit about what you've been up to, because it's so lovely to see you. I mean, you went off to Bristol, didn't you? And you've been doing some care work, but you're also working with a youth project, aren't you?
Yeah, I think I just wanted to head somewhere a bit bigger and where there's creative stuff. I don't know, just to see what I could do. So I've always enjoyed working kind of community-based stuff and like things like Unleashed, and working with young people, and actually working with those young people who might have been kicked out of school, who might be being misunderstood, who might be going down that route of drinking and drugs and whatever, because they're the ones, like you said, you know, they're judged a lot, and people think, you know, they're antisocial, misbehaving, whatever, but there's more to that. So we're working with a lot of those kind of young people, a lot of through some theatre stuff. I've been working a little bit in a young person secure unit, like a juvie, basically.
This is great.
Which has been cool, and working with those kind of kids, which is challenging but cool. I've been doing some more community theatre stuff.
And
this time,
T.S. Idiot, is he still around?
Yes, and performing. I think, you know, I love Torquay. There's a lot of good things in it. I mean, Bristol has been really good in terms of me as a performer. I've been doing my kind of punk poetry stuff a little bit more, a bit political, a bit of comedy. As T.S. Idiot. And starting to get paid sometimes for that, which is nice.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah.
And you also organised your arts festival, didn't you? Your family arts festival.
Yeah, we did. Enjoyed by a lot of people.
No, this is good. Well, listen, Tom, it's lovely to see you, mate. And you know, I don't know how long you're around, but if you're around when we come. Get back together, you know, do come and see us. And
I'm never far away when I'm in Bristol, and you guys have always had a special. Like I said, it was. I always felt like I was struggling just as much and going through very similar things to all the guys there. You know, I never felt any different or above any of them at all in any way. Like, and if anything, I think a lot of them helped me through stuff. You know, which
bless
maybe they do.
you, bless you. Well, you're a good man, and we miss you and love you.
Yeah.
And you know. You are one of our honorary Unleashed family, you know that. So, listen, Tom, lovely to see you, mate. And listen, keep in touch. and you
You
just
too.
come down and do a couple of workshops for us when we're all
Oh,
back
that'd be
to
good.
whatever normal will be.
Yeah, I can do some good stuff about shouting and rhyming and getting a bit angry.
Sounds good.
Need
Right
me
up our
sometimes.
street. Bless you, mate. Listen, take care.
Yeah, much love to everybody.
Bye then.
What a dude! Oh my goodness, what a dude! What a great guy. So listen, what we're going to do now is we're going to actually show that very sketch, the Scream, which was fab. I don't know whether you recall this. This is when we did Unleashed Under One Roof 2, and massive audience. It was sold out. I think 1,000 people were there. It was absolutely brilliant. So here we go.
We hope you enjoyed that little number. That was our tribute to the wonderful Pet Shop Boys. And it just goes to show that things are not always what they seem. Mental illness is one of those things that very often you wouldn't even know that someone's struggling with. For the vast majority of people, they can go about their lives looking fine on the outside. But 1 in 4 people in this country will at some point in their life be diagnosed with a mental health condition. In the homeless community, that goes up to 50%. That's every other homeless person that you see. Unleashed Community Drama devised a theatre piece based on Edmund Munch's famous painting, The Scream. The idea being that on the outside, people might look okay, but on the inside, they're silently screaming. All the scenarios you're about to see are based on real life stories, including Winston Churchill. Ladies and gentlemen, Unleashed Community Drama present The Scream.
I want to scream! I want to scream! And nothing comes out. No sound, just pain. No sound, just pain. Just pain inside. Just pain inside.
That no one can see.
No one can see. No one can see. I want to scream! Sweet chimes in the fields of harbor made me feel better, better. Sweet chimes in the fields of harbor, it made me feel better, better. They took the straw from off the roof, it made the fire catch as it should.
Julian, what are you doing sat on the floor? You're meant to be revising. What on earth do you think you're doing? Come along, you know it's your exam on Monday. It's philosophy. Oh, I despair. I'll bring you a cup of coffee. Perhaps that will help. Now, come on. Sit at your desk. You've only been up here for 2 hours. You'd better not have been sat on the floor all that time. Now, come on. Julian, are you deliberately defying me? Do you honestly think that your father and I spent £9,000 a term on your private education just for you to squander the opportunity that we are giving you? Oh, why can't you be like your sister Camilla? Straight A's all through sixth form. She had a first from Cambridge, and now she's making her way up in the city. You are doing this to defy me. Now, come on, young man. You will sit at your desk, and you're not coming down until you've done at least 2 hours of serious study. Julian, you need to wake up. Your exam is on Monday. That's the day after tomorrow. This is your future we're talking about. Are you ignoring me? This is unacceptable behaviour, young man. I'm going to find your father.
Sweet gems in the fields of Harlem. The meadows roll, the green on green. The meadows roll, the green on green.
You are such an ugly cow and everyone in the class hates you. They all feel the same. That's why you've got no friends. With a face like that, it's not surprising, you ugly cow. And you'll never get a boyfriend either. I heard Gary telling all his mates what they thought of you. They were all laughing about how unattractive you were and that you were the ugliest bitch in school. Who could ever love such an ugly cow like you? It's funny, isn't it? Me being so popular and you being such a complete and utter loser on every front. We all hate you. And you smell. Loser, loser, loser. Never get a boyfriend. Loser, loser, loser.
Winston, let me get you an ashtray. My darling, I hate to see you like this. How do you fancy coming out with us this afternoon? I'm taking the children to Kew Garden. Might do you some good to get out in the sunshine. The children have been asking after you. They'd love for you to come. How about getting your paints out? Paul sent some lovely canvases up from Windsor and Newton. Very thoughtful of him. He's such a good friend of you. Oh, and he's asked us to attend his reception for his exhibition at the Mount Gallery. My darling, I'll tell you what I'll do. Let me top up that whiskey for you, and I'll go and set up your easel in the conservatory. What do you think?
Oh my goodness. Isn't that fab? Well, guys, we are now going to do something to shout about. Nick Murphy. Look, you got a coloured face. Happy birthday, mate. It's Nick Murphy's birthday today, so happy birthday to him. Look, can you see? Look, I got some toner for my printer. And there you are with your lovely new coloured face. Now, we also have a new avatar. Look who's here at the house today. Yo, Allah. Look, and she's wearing a pimped up t-shirt, Unleashed t-shirt, which she cut up. Oh my goodness. Now, the reason why we've got Allah here is because, bless her, she did this wonderful interview for us for our documentary last summer. which I have to say was part responsible for us getting the money. My gosh, from the National Lottery. John Gingell put together this wonderful, wonderful documentary. And a lot of our guys, lovely Alla here being one of them, did an interview. And just to talk about the club and to talk about, how it's helped her. So we're going to look at that now. And then we're going to have a quiz. So guys, if you want to get your pens and papers out, we are going to have a special mental awareness quiz. So you can listen to the interview and then we're going to have the quiz. And then we're going to get Alla on the phone, who's going to be our specialist subject answers person. So it's all very exciting. Right, let me just set this up. It's all good. Oh my gosh, we've got everyone on the show today. And don't forget, we've got Joseph Milson coming up. My goodness, our star interview, which is fab. So here we go. Anyway, first of all, our very own star, the lovely Alla. That's not Alla, that's Laura. But here we go.
And absolutely being diagnosed with bipolar 15 years ago, been through every therapy group in the land, every psychiatric unit thing, until I came to this place. And I was like, okay, that's just crazy. The people just doing all these silly things, So for the first couple of weeks, I was just sitting there laughing. And because you're so sick, that's all you need. You need to bring back the basics of your body when your brain is broken. So the laughter is the best medicine, we always say. So drama provides plenty of that every week. The best thing, people with mental health are incredibly self-centered, and they're very good at presenting to the world the shell. And inside, people are screaming, and then when you realize that, and you keep thinking you're just the only one, everybody else is happy, and you're the only one who is suffering that. So if I burst into tears, I just run out and wash my face, if I feel emotional. And there is no judgment whatsoever. Because, so being yourself, I'm totally being accepted for what I am, complete mad Russian, because bipolars, if you met bipolars, you would know they're up and down, Thursday morning, between 10:30 and 12 o'clock, there is a magic happening in this room, okay? Like an anchor point for your illness or your anxiety or your depression. Because we are here 51 weeks of the year out of 52 except for Christmas, and that means that wherever I am, in my mental state on that week, and maybe don't come in, I know out there is a port in my store when I come in, and people will hug me and kiss me and listen to me cry.
Okie doke. So that's lovely, Alla. Really, really good. Right, the next one is going to be Joe Milson, which is really exciting. But we're gonna do our quiz first of all. So guys, we always do this. We always do a couple of activities, bit of fun. So guys, if you want to do this is great. Today is Mental Health Awareness Day. So our quiz is specifically about mental health. Okay, so it's just a bit of fun, and then we're going to get Alla on the phone. She's going to give us, hopefully, the questions. Alla, do you like your avatar? It's great, isn't it? Look. There's Alla. Right, so question 1. Guys, are you ready? Here we go. Question 1. What was the name of the inspirational 1996 biopic film about David Helfgott, the famous concert pianist struggling with mental health issues, that starred Geoffrey Rush? Okay. So what was the name of the inspirational 1996 biopic film about David Helfgott, the famous concert pianist struggling with mental health issues, that starred Geoffrey Rush? Okay, question 2. What was the name of the Amy Winehouse album that became, after her untimely death at the age of 27, for a time the UK's biggest selling album of the 21st century and one of the best selling albums in UK chart history? So I'll read that again. What was the name of Amy Winehouse? A self-admitted patient at the Saint Paul Asylum in Saint-Rémy de Provence from May 1889 until May 1890. True or false? Vincent van Gogh became a self-admitted patient at the Saint Paul Asylum in Saint-Rémy de Provence from May 1889 till 1890. Okay. Question 4. Which cast member of the Harry Potter films has been struggling with obsessive-compulsive disorder since he was 5? Which cast member of the Harry Potter films has been struggling with obsessive-compulsive disorder since he was 5? Okay. Question 5. Which international singing star and actress has suffered post-traumatic stress disorder after sharing in a 2014 interview that she was the victim of a rape that happened when she was only 19 years old? Okay, number 5. Which international singing star and actress has suffered post-traumatic stress disorder after sharing in 2014 interview that she was the victim of a rape that happened when she was only 19 years old? Okay, question 6. You've got to get this, otherwise you weren't listening. What is the name of the Edward Munch painting that has become synonymous with mental health? Question 6. What is the name of the Edward Munch painting that has become synonymous with mental health? Okay, question 7. What percentage of homeless people in England reported that they had mental health issues? This is current. What percentage of homeless people in England reported they had mental health issues? Question 8. We're going to whiz through this. We've got so much to do. Which Alan Bennett play about a famous royal who famously had a long bout of madness? What is the name of the Alan Bennett play about a famous royal who famously had a long bout of madness? Question 9. Which famous political aide to Tony Blair has struggled with his mental health all his life? Which famous political aide to Tony Blair has struggled with his mental health all his life? And the last one, this is great film. Who was the name of the evil nurse in Ken Kayson's book, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? Oh my gosh, in the film, she was a right horrible person. What was the name of the evil nurse in Ken Casey's book, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? Right, so we're going to get the lovely Alla on the phone. And she's going to be our quiz meister. So let's get Alla on the phone. Now, let's have a look. Here we go. Hopefully. Here we go.
Hello.
Alla!
Yes, I'm on.
Are you on, lovely?
Yes, I'm on.
You're a bit quiet, but I think we can hear you. You're going to have to shout, lovely. Okay, can you shout?
Yes, I am on.
This is good. Right, so we're going through the quiz now. Question 1. Can you see your avatar? What was the name of the inspirational biopic about the famous concert pianist David Helgoff?
What are you asking me?
Yeah, what was the question? Yeah, you're got to give us the answers, lovely.
Yes, that's right. I'm ready.
Question 1. What's the answer to question 1?
Shine.
What a great film. Look it up. It's a brilliant film. Fantastic. Question 2, Alla. What was the name of the Amy
Black.
Back to Black. Yeah, Back to Black. Well done. This is good. Question 3. True or false? Vincent van Gogh.
Absolutely true.
Absolutely true. And weirdly, the asylum in Saint Remy de Provence is still a mental health unit, which is incredible, isn't it? You know,
I know.
It's amazing. Okay, which cast member of the Harry Potter films has been struggling with obsessive compulsive disorder since he was 5?
Daniel Radcliffe.
Daniel Radcliffe. Well done. Okay. Which international singing star and actress has suffered post-traumatic stress disorder?
She's the Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga. Well done. Okay. Dead easy, this one. Okay. What is the name of the Edward Munch painting that's become synonymous with mental health?
Scream.
The Scream. And do you remember? Hang on. I can't remember now. It's fine. Let's move on. Okay. What percentage of homeless people in England reported that they had a mental health disorder? Hi, Alla.
80%.
80%. 80. Well done, lovely. What's the Alan Bennett play?
The Madness of King George.
The Madness of King George. We're whizzing this. We're absolutely bossing it. Well done. Which famous political aide to Tony Blair struggled with his mental health all his life? Alistair Campbell. Okay. And then the last one, the evil nurse in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Nurse
Ratched. Yeah, well done. Well, listen, Alla, lovely having you on. Thank you so much. Do you like your avatar?
Love you guys. Love you.
Take care. Bye. Right, guys, we are going to whiz on because, oh my goodness, we have now come to the bit in the show which you've all been waiting for, the interview with Joseph Millman. Oh my goodness, this guy, we got to know him through Alexa. She's been doing some work for him. She's been editing his book. And he, bless him, said he would like to come on and encourage us all. So what a dude. How exciting is that? This guy's been in everything. I watched the other night. You'll see. Oh my goodness. Angel Has Fallen. Here he is. Okay, well, guys, it's a big thrill. Oh my goodness. We have Joseph Millman here, which is so good because... Joseph, it's a really big thrill to have you join us today.
It's not your pleasure.
My goodness, I mean, you've done so much. I mean, it's, you know, the last couple of weeks we've had real actors on the club.
Fantastic. Whatever that means.
I know.
They're all exactly the same. Nobody knows what they're doing, let me tell you. But I am the busiest unknown actor in the world.
My goodness, you are. I tell you, I looked at your CV, and obviously weirdly, I realised we came and saw you in Love Never Dies 10 years ago. Oh my gosh, we so enjoyed it. And of course, we saw it a couple of weeks ago when they were showing it on, on a Friday night. But but my goodness, you've been in Peak Practice, you've been in EastEnders, you've been in Holby, you've done big movies like, Casino Royale with Daniel Craig. You've done, you've been with Morgan Freeman and Gerard Butler in Angel Has Fallen. And then also you do like Shakespeare and the National Theatre, RSC. Oh my goodness, is there nothing you cannot do, Joseph?
No, I think what you mean is there nothing I won't do because I'm such a whore. I'll go anywhere they pay my rent with. And so I've managed to be, it's 28 years now I've been doing this for a living. It's a combination of absolute pig-headed refusal to give up and a bit of luck, and luckily low expectations going in. I think that's really helped me. So there have been moments where other people, we have these agents and people, who take 10% of your money and don't always do too much. No, they do, they're marvellous. But there have been moments where they've got all excited and gone, this is it. I think you're about to become a big star.
Well, I mean, I
thought, great. But it doesn't happen. And I just keep working occasionally, and that's marvellous. I say keep working. I've had massive periods out of work. And again, luckily, my expectations, the secret of life, what is that old saying? You sow an expectation, you reap a disappointment, I think. Now, us British are quite good at being optimistic pessimists, realistic. And it's helped, I think. Like last year I had a great run of work, and then 6 months where I could not land a job. I had perhaps 70 auditions. I was the bridesmaid on lots of them that didn't quite get the job. And it got to the point, in my life, I have 3 children I'm responsible for effectively, and 2 of my own and a stepson. And it gets to the point where I realised how lucky I've been. It had been 15 years since I'd had to have a different job. I've managed to, well, it's not a problem. But to pay my way with 2 families, actually, as it were, I had to work as a carer for old people by day. And then I was working in a cocktail bar till 2 a.m. at night.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
6 days a week for about 5 months. And then out of that, I got the lead in a movie. But you just keep your head down and keep going. Or maybe head up and keep going. So it's funny, I have done an awful lot.
You have. Well, Joseph, I'll tell you something that you are at the moment in Mary Poppins, aren't you? You are playing George Banks in Mary Poppins in the West End with Petula Clark and Charlie Stam. Oh my God!
When it comes back, when we get to do it, of course, we stopped work on March the 16th, like everyone else, and there is no guarantee we'll go back. We are all crossing our fingers, and we've got a kind of vague date of the end of September to maybe be allowed back. Yeah, but it's been wonderful. Mary Poppins. Musicals come my way occasionally. I never trained as a singer. I can hold a tune, but I'm sort of that actor who can sing that they'll get in occasionally. Mr. Banks, luckily, just goes, I don't have to do any big singing.
It's such a fab musical. I mean, to be fair, me and my wife, we sing it 5 times. We're that sad. I've
sad about that.
I've directed a children's version of it.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I watched the movie of it with my kids, without exaggeration, maybe 200 times. It is the most magical story.
But it must be a bit of a worry for you. I mean, seriously, as a professional actor, how are you coping with the lockdown? Because I read in the stage that the industry has lost like 615 million quid's worth of money. I think,
Yeah, I can't keep up with the big figures. All I know is the personal story is that it has effectively. We aren't going to know the effect of all this for quite a while. And my dad, my dear departed dad, always said, "How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time."
Yeah.
And with this problem, it's almost too big. If my wife and I were both actors, you'll meet her, everyone, next week or soon. If we started really thinking about it, I don't think our industry will be back on its feet for a year or more. And it is entirely likely and possible that Mary Poppins won't come back on, in which case I have no work. I've been working at Aldi supermarket for the last month. The way I am, the minute that job finished, I have children to feed. I took my little CV around the town until I got a job. Now, they took me on as a temp. I worked there for 5 weeks, then they had to let all the temps go. So right now I'm unemployed again.
Oh, mate, I'm sorry to hear that.
All right, it's okay. But we will, I'm building a sound studio and a cupboard at home in the hope that I can do voiceovers. I'll do whatever it takes. But really, how I'm dealing with it is definitely that thing of one day at a time. I was walking my children on a dog walk the other day, and my son is 16 any minute. He's 15. My daughter's 18. But my son was, he's a lovely lad, but he was, as all teenagers do, he had his head, and all adults sometimes, he had his head down like this as he was walking. It was a beautiful day. And I said to him, "Come on, lift your head up." And he said, "Why?" And I thought, oh God, I've got to give him an answer now. So what I said was, look, if you think there are lasers coming out of your eyes, the angle they're pointing down at tells me what's going on with you. And you are being led by and controlled by your thoughts. You're worrying about stuff. And it is like heavy and pulling your head down. I said, if you lift your eyes up so the lasers coming out of them are straight ahead, you don't get taken over by those nasty thoughts and you're in the day. And I said, it's up to me, up to you. You know, you do what you want. Blind, went, oh, there's the edge of the thing, jumped, cleared the crash mat, jumped so far, I landed on my back on a camera.
No!
And of course, everyone just went, oh, is the camera all right? Is the camera all right? I'd heard a bit of a click in my shoulder, and they said, right, it's all right, we'll go again. I kind of went up there, oh, feels a bit weird, I can't really move my arm very well, but it's fine. Did it again. I did it perfectly, landed on the crash mat, but I heard click. It went great, I just moved off. I was so nervous about getting sacked, I didn't tell anyone for an hour. And a stuntman came up to me and said, good job, mate, yeah, well done. You're all right, you look a bit pale. I said, yeah, I'm fine. I think I might hurt my shoulder a bit. Let's have a look. He pulled my shirt back, and my collarbone was sticking up like that. And he went, oh, we've got to report this. I went, no. And I begged this man not to tell anyone. I knew things you know when you're in the business. Stuntmen always have amazing painkillers. So I said, please, just give me a painkiller. He went, oh my God. I said, they'll sack me. I've got 4 more days left. They'll get someone else. They wouldn't have, but I was so paranoid. He gave me one of his mega painkillers, used gaffer tape to tape my shoulder down. And I got on with it. I didn't know if my scene would be in the film. And the punchline is that when I eventually went to see the film at the cinema, having not told anyone I was in it, because I thought it might get cut, not only was I in it, there was a massive close-up of me for one line. And I can tell, but no one else can, I can see in my eyes, I'm off my face on codeine. In that close-up, in Casino Royale, I know, I'm like, oh, I knew when they did that close-up, I was on mega painkillers. So that's a good one for you. Yeah. What about that for a first film?
My goodness. But my goodness, you have been in loads, haven't you? You've done you've done lots of film work now, haven't you? And I did. Last night I watched Angel Has Fallen, bit of research.
Great film. I mean, what's it like working with Gerard Butler? Because
A slightly smaller part, but it ended up being quite good. And I was working with Jada Pinkett Smith, who was Will Smith's wife. And people had said, oh, she might have a bit of an ego. She's a big old star and a diva. She'll have an entourage. She was fantastic. I did work with Morgan Freeman for a day and Gerard Butler for a day, but I didn't get to know them very well. But Jada and I, we were sitting in a police car together, and it would start to rain, and we were 2 miles from wherever the sort of caravans and things were. And they said, oh, do you want to go back? Or we're going to, as soon as it stops raining. We said, no, we'll sit here. And there was one night shoot, 2 a.m. We sat in a car together for 2 hours with a styrofoam cup of coffee each and just talked about our lives. And she was absolutely wonderful. And she kept saying, yeah, well, my husband, and I go, you mean Will Smith? Well, I said, I just say, well, come on, I know who your husband is.
Oh gosh, my goodness. So, I mean, for someone like yourself, it must be really varied. You have had an incredibly varied career, and obviously our connection with you is I think Alexa is
Alexa Tewkesbury, the wonderful woman.
Yes, she's been editing your book.
Yeah, I have a book of stories about my life coming out. Well, it's just signed with an agent, so he's got to sell it. So one day it will come out.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, do you know what though? It's interesting. We were talking just before we started about the theatre you guys do with Unleashed. That's so brilliant. And I think you're focusing all the best bits of this thing. I think I'd do this even if it wasn't my career, because especially comedy. If ever I'm in a very rare, I've talked about how I'm out of work a lot still, but if ever I'm in the rare situation of you've got to choose between two things because they clash. If there's a comedy, 99% of the time I'll go with that, because I'm talking about my dead dad, but he ran a pub. He did all sorts of things, but he's a million miles from this business. But I remember when I was a young actor, I was on tour in a comedy, Loot, by Joe Walton. And I was always a bit embarrassed about what I did for a living. I'd seen my dad hucking barrels all his life, working 365 days a year. And I thought, I know my job's hard work. It can be hard work, but it's not like what my dad does. And I used to feel embarrassed. And one night I came out after a show, he'd come to see it. And I made a glib comment about a silly job, not a real job. And now my dad was not prone to philosophical statements. He grabbed me and went, oi, don't let me ever hear you saying that again. I went, what? He said, you just made 500 people laugh for 2 hours. And he said, in this shit world, do you know how much that's worth? Don't let me ever hear you underestimate how important this theatre thing is. She didn't know anything about. And I've always kept that with me. And with comedy, you can hear instantly the reason that you're there. Yeah. And I've done all my share of Shakespeare and Ibsen and new plays at the Royal Court, Sturm and Drang stuff. And it's important. You make people think, and it's great. But nothing beats the immediate joy of comedy and musical for kind of knowing why we're there.
Yeah. Because you were in Black Comedy, weren't you? Didn't you play
Real
Scramberger?
Yeah.
Because we did that. We did it about 4 years ago. In fact, it was the very first production that Unleashed Community Drama did. We did it in the Rounds, very small. Yeah. But we did it for 4 nights. It was
Did you pair it with another play?
No, we didn't. We did it because it was the first play we'd ever done with community drama.
Amazon Prime or something, but for once I'm starring in it. I'm in every scene, and I play a serial killer. It's not a comedy, but it was a really difficult shoot. My wife was in it as well. We had a great time, and I am just super proud of the end product. I just think it shouldn't have looked that good. And also, there's a kids' movie out now called Dragonheart Vengeance, which is for sort of 10-year-olds plus, and I play the lead sort of Captain Jack Sparrow thing in that. And for me, that'll do me. I'm like the lead in a kids' adventure film. It's there. It's a Dragonheart film. I'm talking to a dragon, played by Helena Bonham Carter. So that's a huge, proud thing that my grandkids can watch. So I'm very lucky.
Yeah. Well, listen, Joseph, we really appreciate you coming on and encouraging us. It's so great to meet you, and we're going to probably be locked down till flipping October. So we could probably do this again maybe in months' time. I know.
Yeah. I'll have a big grey beard and mad hair.
Yeah.
And I think you might be talking to my wife, Sarah Kane.
Yeah, your wife. This would be great. So we're really looking forward to that. But listen, Joseph, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
And, it's lovely to meet you. And listen, I really hope that Mary Poppins comes off, because I tell you,
sure it will.
we want to be there. We want to be there.
Absolutely.
Time.
Yeah, absolutely.
No.
All right, my friend.
All right. Well, listen, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. We'll keep in touch. And
all right.
we really appreciate your interest in us, because we just put a rag bag of guys down at Devon, but
it's all cool. That's what this stuff's for. It's way more important than the big stuff, what you guys are doing.
Well, I don't know about that, but bless you. Anyway, you're very kind. Listen, take care, and we'll speak soon. Bless you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Oh my goodness! What a guy! What a guy! What a guy!
Okay, well, guys, it's a big thrill. Oh,
what a guy! So, really, really kind of him to come on, and actually, to be fair, we've got a couple of other people lined up. Next week, we are going to, we're going to have David Robinson on the programme on a virtual drama, because he's written three of the plays that we've done. Now, last week, everyone was worried about Mark. What happened to Mark? Where he disappeared? Well, this week, we have a treat for you, because, dear Mark, I was a bit worried about him. So what with the new sort of loosening up and, being alert, I actually went round to his house. We were going to be in the garden to actually hear him do his poem that he did last week and this new one, because it is time for Thespian's Poetry Corner. So I went round to his house, but his neighbours were having a rowdy party. So fortunately, I had my social distancing COVID stick of doom. As you will see, but this is lovely Mark for you.
So here we are. I'm here with my COVID stick of doom, my social distancing stick of doom that they like use on the telly. And we are here with the lovely Mark, because last week we missed seeing him, and I know you, everyone was disappointed. So he's going to be doing two for us today, and you're actually going to be seeing rather than just his little avatar. So look, here we are. Here we are. It's my
not too close, mate. Not too close.
COVID stick of doom, so that all the viewers can see there are actually 2 metres away.
Right, well.
Now, Mark.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Crepusculum Villa, hotbed of lust, debauchery, and poetic genius. But not necessarily in that order, because if it was, it'd play havoc with the neighbours. Now, today, I'm going to do what is commonly known as a double whammy. And at my age, to be honest, I don't do those as often as I used to. But bear with me. And the first one I'm going to do is last week's that I missed out, unfortunately, because my phone went a bit silly, just about an alien in it or something. So here we go, boys and girls. This is called Close Encounters of the Scary Kind. Subtitled, it's all alien to me. So here we go. The crew of the Starship Enterprise travel at very high speed, I've heard. Is this all just relative? Or does E equal MC squared? I explored space for a while before I became downhearted, having been sucked into a wormhole, ending up right back where I started. I know this geezer called Chewbacca. He's a real mate. He'll do anything for anyone, but he must articulate. I saw this bloke in the sauna, sat with not a thing on. I said, "Here, mate, are you a Ferengi?" He said, "Me? No, I'm a Klingon." I've always found androids to be nice chaps, although I only know a few. I know a gay one on the planet Zog. He's called RU-12. Steady on, old chap. Steady on. There's more verses to come yet. Whilst watching out for pigs in space,
I found I'd made a note about wanting to speak to Miss Piggy, but she had a frog in her throat. Stopping off in the Delta quadrant, whilst clocking this bird called Leah, I said, "Hey, love, you're a bit of all right. Get yourself over here." After I'd chatted her up a bit, I still didn't know the score. Would she let me boldly go? Were no man has gone before. Stop it, Martin, it's not nice. So is this poem pure fiction, or is it really true? Have there been real deep space encounters? I'll leave it up to you. So here we go now, folks. Yes, it's a double whammy time. And as we know, Universal Credit has had a bit of a rough ride since it started. In fact, there were 9 times as many the other month claiming as there should have been.
And we showed the Universal Credit sketch a couple of weeks ago.
Indeed, absolutely.
That you started.
Oh, absolutely, like what I started. Brilliant. So anyway, being Universal, it's got to be everywhere, hasn't it? So I had a thought about how are the wildebeest in Africa doing with their Universal Credit? And this is the unique take I came out with. Here we go. A wildebeest of indeterminate IQ stood on the Serengeti, wondering what to do. His Universal Credit was already 6 weeks late, and with his missus giving him ear roll, he was in quite a state. An elephant, who it must be said, was nothing short of glib, laughed as he walked past him, saying he already had got his. "Bastard," said the wildebeest in a highly indignant way. At that particular point in time, there seemed little else to say. At dusk, a ranger rode up on his new quad bike. "Sorry I'm a bit late, but it has been quite a hike. Now it's all down to the alphabet, so this is what you do. Just change your name from wildebeest and call yourself Gnu." Thank you.
Yeah, well done. Isn't that great? Isn't that great, dear Mark? Bless him. So good. Guys, and listen, keep them coming. Keep the poems coming. You know, some people are really writing some stuff. Now, we're going to get lovely Claudia on the phone very, very briefly. Claudia Streets. She has been sending me so many, here we go. So many poems that she's written. So let's see if we can get her on the phone, because she's going to do one of her poems this morning. Good old Claudia.
Hello?
Claudia, how are you?
Yeah, I'm alright. It's a nice day. Thanks.
Good, good. How are you coping with the lockdown, lovely?
It's difficult.
Oh, yeah, it is difficult, yeah. But you've been very creative. You've been sending me loads of poems. How many have you sent? You've sent loads, haven't you?
Yeah.
So, listen, lovely. You're going to give us one this morning, aren't you? One of your poems.
It is a joke.
Yeah.
So, okay. It's called My Corona.
My Corona.
Which, by Claudia Streets, which is based on the song by My Sharona by the Knack.
Okay.
Okay. Never wash your hands. Do not washing your hands. Such dirty hands. I always flare up for when my hand touches someone else's. Whoa! Stop washing your hands. My Corona.
Hey, well done. Now listen, Claudia. Listen, Claudia, can I just say, okay, you have written so many, and we do miss you. We're waiting, hopefully, that we can get you one of these little iPads so we can Zoom you and get you on the show. But I just have to say, out of every single person in the group, Claudia is the one who sent me the most material. I mean, literally almost every 3 or 4 days, I'm getting something from you, and I just want to say, well done, lovely. You know, it's really great. Have you used that? Have you used that pad we gave you in your Red Cross parcel yet? Is it completely gone, full of poems?
No, but it's not lined paper, is it?
Oh,
it's for art.
Oh, for art. So you haven't written in it. Okay. Well, you can use it for whatever you like. Listen, lovely. We're going to have to go because time's marching on. But can I just say, nice to hear you, Claudia. And we will get you on properly, all right? Okay?
Okay, I hope you feel better, Martin.
Oh, bless you. Thank you. Thanks, Claudia.
Okay.
All right. Take care, lovely. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, bless her. Love Claudia. It's great. So, guys, listen, we're going to round it up because it's nearly time to go. But I just wanted to round up and say a couple of things, okay? Because we are really, we are focusing on mental health this morning. And, I think what's come out is that actually for a lot of people, it's really, really hard to actually sometimes ask for help. And it's really hard sometimes to be honest. And the thing about Unleashed is that actually a lot of our guys who are already sort of struggling with some sort of addiction, they've come to a point where they recognize actually they need help. But for a lot of people, it doesn't get to that point and it's really hard. And I think particularly in lockdown, I know a lot of our group particularly have been struggling. So we've talked about forgiveness a couple of weeks ago. We talked about gratitude. Today, I just want to focus on kindness. Kindness, which sort of came out actually in Joseph's interview, that actually if we take a focus off ourselves and we start focusing on other people, actually that can be really, really good for your mood. I think it was fantastic at the top of the club where loads of things came out, about taking cold showers, about talking to people, about connecting with nature, mindfulness. We've done some stuff on mindfulness, just really, really sort of using every single thing that we can. But I think this whole thing of kindness, when you're at perhaps actually feeling a bit rough, maybe there's someone that you could phone to help. Maybe some service that you could do. I thought it was great what Mark said last week about how important his service is as part of his recovery with NA, and how, actually helping others and being a mentor for others, someone that they can look up to. That's really helped him in his own recovery. So guys, you are all getting one of these. If you haven't got your pack, okay, you will be getting one, the Wellbeing Journal. Okay. And in it, there's like ever such a lot that you can do. You could to write down, what you enjoy, focus on what you are grateful for. I just want to say also, I don't know how many people of you are following the Normal People on the telly at the moment. I know it's a bit controversial, lots of sex scenes and stuff like that, which, I think it's hard for young actors and what have you. But I have to say the book is absolutely fantastic, and it's the book that everyone is talking about. And the thing that really impressed me about it was one of the characters, Connell, in that. The bit where his mate commits suicide, Rob commits suicide, and he's got this nerdy friend at uni who suggests that he goes and get counselling. My goodness, there's a scene in Normal People where the dialogue is so brilliant, where he goes to a counsellor and how Marianne helps him. And I just think it's a really good thing. And I think it's a really great thing about this book, that actually it takes away the stigma that actually if you really are struggling, and particularly with suicide, the ripples of that. A year ago, a dear friend of ours in the church committed suicide. It's coming up for the year's anniversary, and it affected so many people and their mental health. And then actually we need to talk about it and, realize that when people do commit suicide, it's part of their illness. They're ill. I remember at the funeral, Sam talked very much about, how ill this friend of ours had been and how it wasn't his fault. And, he really was struggling. And yet it is absolutely the truth that it is the biggest killer, suicide, of men between 20 and 50. So I would really advocate that actually, if you are feeling rough, if you are feeling suicidal, you need to talk. It is good to talk. It's okay not to be okay. It's okay to actually get help. It's okay to go and see a counsellor. It's okay to be really, really honest about how you're feeling. And that's why I think actually it's that part of the story, really fab, really fantastic. Can I just say the other thing is also a lot of people are engaging in different ways with, Calvin touched upon it, prayer, or, sort of spending time where you just calm yourself, breathing exercises, muscle relaxation, but also actually thinking outside yourself. And Mary Maggs at the moment is doing a really fantastic job in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the evening. A lot of them are led by Patrina, our dear Patrina, a friend of ours who runs the living room. She's got an incredible story. She was a heroin addict and, completely come through that and has completely recovered. And yet what an amazing woman. And yet, she's leading these things. And quite a few people are engaging with that on the Maggs website. So I would really encourage you to do that, just at times to just stop, pray. I mean, I know that, you know, this is a completely inclusive group, so we're not getting anyone to jump through any hoops, but, you know, it's spirituality is really, really important. You know, I mean, you don't have to be anything to be this group. You know, you could be an atheist, an agnostic, Jedi even. Last week, Jedi. But for being serious for a moment, but actually when you are feeling, when you are struggling, actually a lot of people are engaging and looking to a higher power outside of themselves. So guys, we are going to finish now. Be kind to yourself, be forgiving of yourself, be kind to others, be forgiving of others, and that will help your mood. I hope you've enjoyed it today. It's been a fab morning, isn't it? Oh my goodness. Joseph Milson, what a lovely guy. Lovely Tom Stockley, to have him back. My goodness, to see Mark in the flesh. Really good. So guys, look, we're dead on 12. First time in about 3 weeks I haven't run over. So can I just say, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Next week, really exciting. We've got David Robinson on in the club. Did a great interview with him. Such a lovely bloke. He wrote The Cross and Switchblade. He wrote The Hiding Place. And he wrote Millennium Mysteries. And we're going to be doing a throwback Thursday on the Millennium Mysteries, and hopefully getting the cast together next week. So guys, take care of yourselves, and we will see you all next week. If you really are struggling, please ring us. Please give us a call. You've got Margie's, you've got Joseph's, you've got Calvin's, you've got my number. We are here to help you. Do talk. Remember, it's okay not to be okay, particularly these difficult times. You know, we're here to help you, to support you, you know, but just really value you joining us today, and we'll see you all next week. So have a good week, and God bless. Take care. Bye.